What's going on, guys? Brock with Bassin 227 here. Finally getting another video pumped out. Man, I tell you, 2020's been crazy for us. Had a house fire, and it's just been a rough go trying to get through all that. So that really put a halt on getting some content out. So I do apologize for that. But now that we kind of got things back moving and grooving, we're gonna go ahead and keep on moving forward with pumping these videos out. It's gonna be Halloween this weekend, so hopefully if you got kids, they're able to do some sort of trick or treating with all this COVID stuff going on. I know my boys are excited and ready to go, so it'll be a fun weekend and gonna have some decent weather for it, so that'll be great. So with this video, we're gonna be talking about missile baits D-bomb. I've been fishing the D-bomb itself a little over a year, about 2 years now. It's single-handedly my favorite flipping bait right now. It overtook the Strike King Rage Bug, which for me personally was my favorite, and I've caught a ton of fish on that. But the Missile Baits D-bomb, there's something about it. It sets it apart from the rest, my opinion. Talking a little bit about it here. One thing to note, if you're not familiar with the bait itself, it's got these nice ribs on the body of the bait, which are going to help displace water as it's coming down and hopping it, flipping it, whatever you're doing with it, which is nice. And another added feature that I think these ribs really provide. If you were to take and feel the ribs along, to me it gives a more kind of lifelike feel to it, where when the fish are going to grab a hold of this, it's going to feel real compared to some other baits. Again, that's my opinion, but that's what I've kind of gathered has been a key point for this bait. Another thing that's been really huge, which is probably one of the downfalls to the Rage Bug that I have, is the tip of the Rage Bug it's thin. There's not a lot of meat up there. But if you look here, it's got a thicker head on the body, and that's going to be able to stay on your hook keeper a lot longer. It's going to help make the bait last longer as well, which transition into the durability of this bait. Strike Kings are really soft plastic, and they're known, you get a couple fish and they tear the bait up. This is another really soft plastic, but I can get about 10 plus fish, if not more, just on one bait. And the durability of this is huge, because at the end of the day, you want to get your money's worth out of a bait. And granted, Strike King, you're going to have soft plastic, not going to last as long, but you're going to catch fish. But the same thing is going to be with this. The durability of the D-bomb is some of the best that I've seen with how soft the bait actually is. It's been fun to fish with. Originally I kind of thought, I don't know, I just don't know if it would work, and I ended up pulling the trigger about 2 years ago and tried it, and I've just been blown away by the Missile Baits company in general. Just about everything that they have has been fantastic so far, which we're going to throw some other reviews out there for some other baits that I spent a lot of time this year fishing with as well. One thing too that I feel is a huge plus with with the D-bomb and missile baits is going to be their color selection. There's an abundance of colors for, any situation that you want to throw in. So they don't cut it short on options, which is great. I'm the type of person, I don't branch too far out of my standard colors that I use. If you were to look in my box here, which I don't know how well I can get it without the baits falling, but most of them are some sort of green pumpkin, black and blue, and then some variants of that. So as an example, a standard just green pumpkin, and then I'll have, which is arguably my favorite color that they make, which is the green pumpkin flash. It's green pumpkin with a bunch of different color flake in it. If you got to get one color to try for this bait, get the green pumpkin flash, because I absolutely crushed them this year on this. Got some green pumpkins with red flake, blue flake, variants of, your black and blues. Another really good color that I like that they'd make is Superbug. So you got your black and blue on the top, green pumpkin on the bottom. Just a standard black, which is another good color that I've had some pretty good success with this past season. And then probably one of my number one confidence colors that I always like to have is a PB&J. I don't know what it is for me. It's not a popular color where I fish, but for me, it always seems to get them. So I got to keep it in there. But I keep my colors simple. I keep with what I know will work here, what'll work, through other places that I go fish, and those are pretty standard colors. If you stick to a green pumpkin, black and blue base with some variants amongst those, you can go and you can fish any water because those colors are going to work. Typical applications for this bait are going to be basically, for me, what I do is flipping and a jig trailer. Now, flipping, I'm going to go standard Texas rig. I'll either use a Mustad grip pin EWG or a Mustad grip pin flipping hook, depending upon the type of cover that I'm fishing. Most of the time it's going to be the grip pin flipping hook because one of the places that I go, it's got a little bit thicker grass, so I need to be able to get on them. But if I'm not necessarily fishing, thicker grass, I'll go with a grip pin EWG. I'll go with a Titan tungsten. Weight's going to depend upon what I'm fishing. 3/8, 1/2, 3/4. One weight I used a lot this year was actually a 5/8, and I really like that weight. Flipping wise with fishing line, thicker grass. I'm not a big braid guy, so I don't typically use braid. I usually go about 20-pound fluorocarbon, and the rods that I'm going to use is going to vary depending upon the cover that I'm fishing. I'll either use a Denali Covert LT 7'8" flipping rod, which I use for the thicker grass, or I'll go with a Denali M3, and I'll go a 7'4" heavy. And I use that when I'm not fishing grass. There's thicker grass. I'll throw a Daiwa Tatula. I do an 8 1-to-1 Daiwa Tatula 100, and just so that way I can get it in, get my flips, pull it out, and keep moving. The second application that I use is for a jig trailer. When I'm fishing a bigger jig is when I will go with this bait. Like if I'm flipping the Missile Baits Ike's flip out jig, that's when I'll go to using this as a trailer. If I go to like a mini flip, I'm gonna use the Baby D-bomb. But for jig application, I'm gonna stick to about somewhere between a 7'2" rod. Right now I'm using Denali Covert LT 7'2" worm jig rod. It's a medium heavy, uh, usually about 15-pound fluorocarbon on there. Daiwa Tatula 100, and I put for the line, it's going to be Seagar Red Label. Sorry, I had to think about that for a minute. I was drawing a blank, but a lot of the line that I use is the Seagar Red Label. It's affordable and it's actually pretty good quality line. So those are the two setups that I basically use as far as applications go for this bait. One thing I do want to mention is the action of the bait. You know, there's not too many appendages on here, so you're not going to get, you know, a lot of craziness going on. But you know, the craws down here at the bottom, the claws here, man, when it's coming through the water, it just kicks like this, and it's got really great action. And the one thing that, you know, kind of made me kind of second guess when I was originally looking at it was I didn't think that there was going to be much action. You know, I look at kind of how the rage bug is, for example. You know, it's got the rage claws on it, and you know, it just kicks water like crazy. But these actually do as well, and the action of it is fantastic. You know, so don't be put off if you haven't picked this up because you don't think that there's not going to be, you know, much action. You know, in the middle of summer, it's done well. As it's gotten colder, the few times that I've been out fishing here recently, it's done well also. You know, one key thing I want to point out too with these baits is going to be the price point. You know, for a pack of these baits, it's going to be $3.99. It's a cheap, affordable, and the quality of these baits hit well above their price point, and they're going to last you a long time. So at $3.99 a pack, you get 6 in a bag. It's going to last you a good while. So definitely pick some up. You know, if you haven't tried it yet, you know, I think it's definitely worth it. One thing I would caution is when you're storing the baits, if you're going to put them in a Plano tray, I don't know how well you can see that there. This used to be a perfect fit, but given this type of soft plastic that these baits are made out of, they are ones that will warp a standard Plano tray. So I'm going to be going away from this from a storage standpoint because personally I don't like the warped tackle trays, but I would suggest keeping them in their, you know, their standard package and go with something like this. This is the Missile Baits bag, or any type of bag that's out there. There's a lot of companies now kind of jumping on the bandwagon, but to keep them in the original packaging is going to be a lot better. If you don't mind the warped Plano trays, then throw them in there. That used to be kind of how I stored a lot of my soft plastics. So I think that's gonna wrap it up. You know, thanks for watching. You know, we're gonna continue to keep this thing moving. You know, as you guys are, you know, coming along this journey with me, let me know. You know, what are some videos that you guys want to see? You know, what are things that are gonna interest you, and you know, we'll start working on putting out some content towards that. It's gonna be here really soon that we're gonna run out of fishing time here in Central Illinois, so gonna try maybe a couple more times to see if I can't get out and get some video done for fishing, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Definitely, like I said, check out Missile Baits. You can find them at just about anywhere. Tackle Warehouse, Bass Pro. Get on the Missile Baits website and check them out. Pick you up a couple packs of, you know, what other colors are going to work for you. And, you know, I think you'll be impressed with with what these baits have to offer. And, you know, there's been a lot of pros that have had a lot of success. I know early on Ish Monroe had a ton of success with this bait. So check it out. Yeah, you won't be disappointed, I can tell you that. So you know, until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and stay safe, and everybody have a happy Halloween. Peace.